You ever watch a movie and the only word you can come up with in your head is, what? This is that movie. Before I talk about this movie, I need something to help me with this, because I just need... Okay. Kickstart. Take me away. Better. Yo, it's me, C-S-C-O-T-T, baby. And I'm back with my review of the 2020 film, The Turning, starring Mackenzie Davis, Finn Wolfhard, and it's directed by Floria Sigismondi. Okay, so like I said in my Blu-ray haul video, I've heard about this movie, and it wasn't good things, somewhat. So, I had seen the trailers for this, and before I bought this, like months ago, I had watched Foundflix's video on it, so I knew the basic story beats. But I wanted to see it for myself. And by today I'd forgotten everything from the video anyway, because I only watched it once and that was a couple months ago. So I'd forgotten most everything anyway. No. That's not the right video. Idiot. No, it was the Grudge one that I watched of his. I didn't watch the Turning one till today. That's right. I'm so stupid. Yeah, hello? I'm an idiot. You know? Okay. Yeah, it was The Grudge, not The Turning, that I watched of his before the movie. This one, though, I hadn't. I watched it afterwards. And it's weird, right? Because, so, in his video, Foundflix one, he talks about an alternate ending, and it's not the same alternate ending that's on the Blu-ray. It says, includes alternate ending. It's a different ending. And I guess I'll talk about the theatrical ending. The ending he says was shown as an alternate ending in cinemas, and this one, the alternate one that comes out of here. So what's the story? Kate, played by Mackenzie Davis, she is in charge of taking care of a young girl named Flora. And Flora's brother Miles shows up shortly afterward, saying that he was on break or something from school, and then they find out that he attacked someone and got expelled from the school. The boarding school, I guess. And we get at the beginning of this, Kate goes to see her mother in a mental asylum. And her mother doesn't acknowledge her or anything. But, yeah. And, they say that stuff is hereditary, whatever, but, I didn't mention that because that kind of gets into the ending part, whatever, but upon getting to the house, Kate starts to see disturbing things. The movie starts, though, with the former nanny running from something and something happening to her. And here we find out that she ran off. And supposedly she's dead. And it was the other, the horse guy or something, Quint. who was also gone. He's dead. Supposedly he got drunk and died from falling off a horse. I guess. This movie's hard to follow. I'm sitting there trying to watch it, and there's stuff going on, and it's hard to freaking follow. Miles shows up, things start to pick up, and like she sees Quint go into Miles' room, but Miles is there. Miles talks about his special friend, who there's like a reflection in the mirror or something, and weird things. There's this whole subplot about how Flora is not allowed to leave the grounds. They say that the parents died at the gate of the house. I don't think they specifically say how. They just died at the gate. And I think that's why Flora doesn't want to leave the grounds. It's because she's afraid she will die too. Because she keeps saying, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. Because Kate keeps trying to bring her into town and stuff. And the old bitchy lady that works there, she's a bitch. She's like a big bitch. So she tells Kate to command respect from the children, right? To man up and stuff. And then when she finally does, she's like, don't talk to them like that. You told her to. You told her to stand up and command the children. And when she does, you yell at her for doing so. That one made me flip out. I mean, it really did, because you have to command them. You have to stand up. You have to, assert your authority. And when she does, she goes off on her. It's like, well, what do you want then? And Miles is a little dick. He doesn't want to listen. We're supposed to believe there's something going on in this house, and she sees things going on in this house. Like I said, the whole Flora leaving, it's never really explained, other than you can assume that she's afraid to leave the grounds because her parents died at the gate. Otherwise, I have no fucking idea. As weird as it was, the movie was good until we got to the ending. Well, for me, not even really the ending, just there's a point. So, Kate receives a package from her mother. How she knew the address, I don't know. But inside are black pictures. And after she looks at them, that's when the spookiness and stuff gets to the height of its level. And to the point where she's ready to take the children out of there. So she grabs both the children, and they're ready to leave. They don't want to go, but they, we have to go. And then, as they're driving, all of a sudden it cuts back to Kate looking at the pictures. But she doesn't act as if she realizes all that was in her head, though. She was staring at the pictures. We see this, that she does things, and it comes back to her. But she doesn't realize the past 15 or whatever time, past night, few hours. 15 minutes our time, few hours her time, didn't actually happen. She didn't acknowledge that. She just, looked at it, and then just, put them down and walked in the other room. And, there's she sees the ghost of Quint or whatever stalking her. Before this happens, it's very hard to follow. And then when she confronts the kids, because apparently she sees them in the mirror, and they say they don't see him at all, and they act a little bit different. Foundflix says that, supposedly that means that they never had any connection with him. Well, no. It's only everything we saw when she looked at the picture on that didn't happen. All the exchanges with them before then happened. Okay? As much as they try to convince you this is in her head, the only thing I can see that was in her head was everything she saw when she looked at the thing. Now, then all of a sudden she ends up back at the asylum with her mother. Her mother turns around. We don't see the mother's face, but then Kate screams, and that's the end of the movie. That's the end of the movie. Seriously, that's the end of the movie. Roll credits. The fuck was that? Supposedly, like, I was reading comments on FoundFlix's video trying to get, like, if there are anyone's theories. Someone had a theory about how it was all in her head, and she's actually Mrs. Jessel, who is the woman at the beginning, running. And that what is going on is that, you know, that she actually ran off and she's all messed up in the head and she ended up in a mental institution. And then here, what she's doing, taking this job, is that she's reliving and doing things the right way by trying to get the kids out of there. But how does that explain the cut back to the pictures? Like, that was supposed to be the way it happened, and then I don't know. But ignoring that theory and saying that it's just all inside her head, okay, if you think that everything that happened since she arrived is inside her head, that doesn't explain the cold open at the beginning with Mrs. Jessel running away and stuff. That doesn't explain that. Unless she is Mrs. Jessel, but that's just a theory. There's, like I said, apparently two alternate endings. The one that FoundFlix explained was that she has a scuffle with the ghost of Quint, or Quint, whatever, is alive, and it finally escaped. It's attached to Miles, and that Mrs. Jessel is attached to Flora. And this is hinted throughout the film anyway. But in this alternate ending, it would have shown that Miles was, you know, under the control of Quint. And then after a struggle with Quint, it appears to leave Miles, and then she tries to drive them away. But the ghost is still inside Miles and pops out and attacks her, and that was the ending. Which doesn't make a lot of sense. And even the alternate ending they have had here doesn't make a lot of sense. When you start it, she's already running from the ghost of Quint. So I'm assuming this was inside when she was looking at the thing, and it didn't cut away. She's running, and she runs into this courtyard area, and she hears Miles call her name, and she turns around. She hears someone call her name, turns around, and it's Miles, and then Quint's on the other side, and she grabs him, and she starts strangling him. And then Flora runs up and says, "Stop it, you're killing him!" And it turns out to be Miles. And then this big-ass spider crawls out of his mouth, which indicates the ghost is gone. And then Miles wakes up. They all, like, embrace each other and start laughing. And then all of a sudden, Kate has this scared look on her face, like something's coming towards them, and it ends. It's still an ambiguous ending. But this alternate ending is very close to the ending of the original film. If you didn't know, this is based on a book called The Turning of the Screw. And there was another adaptation of this back in the 50s, 60s, whatever, called The Innocents. And the ending of that film had a struggle where, not even a struggle, but where, like, the ghost of Quint showed up and Miles died, and it was ambiguous as to whether or not she killed him or if he just the ghost killed him or what. It's not a biggest ending, but apparently it's a better ending. Apparently that's a better film, and I'd like to see that actually. I do like some other films. This movie was confusing. Although the alternate ending with the spider calling out does explain a spider subplot earlier in the film when he had a spider crawling on him, and then he just ended up crawling on Kate and he killed it. I think maybe that was a fix because if they I think maybe after they changed the ending, they had to add the scene where he kills the spider so that it ended that subplot. Because if you keep where he kills the spider in, and the spider coming out of his mouth doesn't make any sense. Not this movie makes any sense, mind you, but I'm just saying. I'm thinking maybe if they had the ending where the spider crawls out of his mouth, then the scene where he kills the spider wouldn't happen. And this, the kids are acting weird. The trailers for this made it seem as if the kids were evil. That's what I was interested in seeing. But it wasn't like that at all. And that's what I hate about trailers. They'll make it seem one way, then you go see the movie and it's a completely different way. I mean, they say Marvel trailers lie to us. They do, but they do it just the right way. They change some things. They don't just outright edit something to make it look like a totally different movie, which is what they did with this. The trailer for this was edited to look like the children were evil. What we got was a sort of haunted house story that could be in her mind. Who knows? Who knows? Another thing that doesn't add up, that could stand against the thought of her being in a mental institution is that she has a roommate. So that, the thing at the beginning with Mrs. Jessel and the roommate doesn't make any sense. I mean, if they were trying to do the Uninvited Part 2 here, where, she wasn't even a roommate, she was across the... Maybe it garners multiple viewings, but it's just... And there's even one part where they say that the old lady, the bitch lady, was dead. I don't remember which point that was, but she never died. No, she didn't die. I don't know. I just don't... I'm gonna give it a 5. Just because the spooky parts were spooky to me. And for PG-13, there was one F-bomb, and it was from Finn Wolfhard. But, yeah, it gets a 5. It's not the worst thing I've seen this year. Or ever. So, guys, what did you thought on The Turning? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one. Like I said, what?